What's up? It's your boy KC. How y'all doing? Welcome to KC Discussions. Today's topic is going to be about Nintendo, the actual company. See, I made a video about this a long time ago, like over 3 years ago, and a lot of things have happened since then. And I just want to say this: if you're a fan of Nintendo, a diehard fan, go ahead, keep supporting them. More power to you. I'm not doing this video to tell people to stop playing Nintendo products and stop buying Nintendo products. That's not me. The whole purpose of this video is to explain to people why I'm not a fan of Nintendo anymore. You see, when the NES came out and the Famicom in Japan, it was a must-have. They had so many creative games, so many games that actually sucked, but they did take a chance on making games out of pretty much everything. There was a huge variety. So I couldn't wait to get that system when I was a kid, and I played it damn near every time I got a chance to. Same thing with the Super Nintendo. I had to have that too, and I play it still to this day. I play a lot of Super Nintendo games, my all-time favorite being Super Metroid. I had the Nintendo 64, which had decent games, but that right there is where it started to go downhill for me. Like, my interest started to die with Nintendo when Nintendo 64 came out, because though they had a lot of good games, they also had a lot of shitty games too. And that's where I started seeing the pattern that Nintendo is doing. We'll talk more about that later. And I know y'all thinking, how can anybody get bored with Nintendo? But I was. It got so bad that I only bought the GameCube for 4 games. I only played 4 games on that system. The GameCube was great. I loved the system. But the games, I was just not interested in. I bought it for Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, which was the remake to Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation. Resident Evil 0, which was exclusive to that system at the time. Resident Evil Remake, or the remake of Resident Evil 1, that was exclusive to GameCube at that time. And Resident Evil 4. That was the only reasons I bought this system. When the Wii came out, I had absolutely no interest at all. There was no games that I wanted to play because Nintendo started to change up their marketing. They started to go for the casual gamers, the people that'll pick the game up every now and then instead of worrying about the hardcore gamers. And they started coming out with all these shitty games, like these Just Dance games and the Cooking Mama games and the Wii Sports games. All that bullshit that I was not interested in. And that's all I kept seeing. And I wanted to give the Wii a shot, I really did. But once the novelty wore off with the motion controllers, I didn't care. Like, there was only one game that I wanted to play, which was Metroid Other M, and that game sucks. It's half-assed. So I never played the Wii again. I got Metroid Other M to play on my cousin's Nintendo Wii because I refused to buy it. How could Nintendo get that far down to where I don't even want to play their stuff anymore? It's not like, look, it's not like they're coming out with bad things. I mean, sometimes they do, just like every other company. But the main problem that I have with Nintendo is that they keep coming out with the same shit every single year. It's the same stuff. It's always a Mario related game. And I don't have anything against Mario. I'm a Mario fan. But it's getting old. It's getting old. It's polarizing. Along with the Pokemon games, which I stopped playing Pokemon when I was 13 years old. That was a long time ago. How long are they going to keep milking this franchise? That is a definition of milking a franchise dry. Pokemon should have ended a long time ago. In the Just Dance games that they keep coming out with. And all these novelty shitty games that little kids and girls want to play, hardcore gamers don't want to play a lot of Nintendo games. I gave the 3DS a shot. I bought the 3DS for 2 games. That's it. 2 games. Resident Evil Mercenaries 3D and Resident Evil Revelations, because it was exclusive to that system at that time. Once Revelations was ported to the consoles, because I had PS3, PS2, etc. Once it was ported to those systems, I no longer needed my 3DS and I got rid of it. And I gave it another shot. I picked up another one. I looked around and I just see all of these cheesy games, like all these little cutesy little kid chibi style games that I don't like it. That's the main reason why I'm not a Nintendo fan anymore, because Nintendo did not grow up with us. We grew up with Nintendo, but all those people, they keep forgetting that all those people that played Mario, that played Super Mario Brothers and Mario 2 and Mario 3, when we were kids, we're all adults now. We're all in our 30s. Some of us are in our 40s, 50s. Nintendo didn't grow up with us. They keep spitting out the same cutesy shit from when we were kids and expect adults to want to play that. And I know some of y'all do want to play that. There are diehard Pokemon fans. More power to you. But I'm bored by it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to say that Sony and Microsoft don't do the same shit. Call of Duty, everyone. Modern Warfare, whatever the hell you want to call it, they keep coming out with those games every year. It will never die. The 2K sports games that keep coming out with the WWE wrestling games, and I love wrestling, but it's the same shit. They all look the same. They want people to pay $60 for a game that looks exactly like last year's game. And another problem, which is, for me, it's a big deal. It's like Nintendo keeps putting out Mario, Zelda, Just Dance, Pokemon, fine, whatever. That's the way it's gonna be. But I have been clamoring for a new Metroid game since 2009, since Other M was out. They did not right the wrong with that game. And I'm talking about a old school Metroid game, a 2D side scroller. I'm not talking about first person shooter like the Prime series, because we all know how I feel about first person shooters. Why not give some attention to Samus Aran? I've been crowing about that for 4 years now. 4 years I've been talking about that. And they just keep shoving this shit. You know what? Nintendo is the WWE of video games. Super Mario Brothers is John Cena. They've been pushing Mario down our throats for years. It's just, and people are gonna play it because they're Mario fans, but Mario Tennis, Mario Party, Super Smash Brothers, I have no interest in that stuff. I'm not saying they're bad games, but I have no interest in it. I've never played a Zelda game in my life. I'm not saying the series is bad, but I'm not interested. In order for me to go out and buy another Nintendo system, it's gonna have to be worth it. I want a new Metroid game. Here's another major problem for me. I don't know about other people, but for me, because I enjoy doing it. For those of y'all who don't know, the Nintendo 3DS is still region locked. It's region locked. That means that you cannot play imported games on a US version of 3DS. And I looked at that and I'm like, come on, Nintendo, seriously. I've been crowing about that for years too. I like to import games from Japan. There are games that Japan has, and even Europe has, that we should be getting here, but we're not for some reason. They need to get their head out of their asses about that one too. And I don't want to have to buy a Japanese version of a Nintendo 3DS or a European version just to be able to play their games. That makes no sense. You could open up a world of variety of games that people can play all around the world if you would just remove that one simple feature. Come on, get your act together. Another problem is that after all these years that the 3DS has been out and all the other Nintendo systems, they still have not gotten the Game Boy Advance library of games to these systems. They still haven't done it. I don't even think they're trying. I'm still waiting to be able to play Metroid Fusion and Zero Mission, Dragon Ball Z Super Sonic Warriors, hell, the Fire Pro Wrestling series. I'm still waiting for the day where they'll finally put it on the 3DS. They refuse to do it. I don't know why, but it's bullshit. Which leads me to my last argument, the Nintendo Switch. I have no interest at all after reading up on it, after watching people play the system. I have no interest at all at spending money to buy this system. This is a huge miss. I don't know what Nintendo was thinking. I know they want to come up with something new, something original. That's great. You wanted a system that could be both portable and could be a home console, and that's a great concept. I commend y'all for trying that. But it wasn't executed well, and they know it wasn't executed well. I looked at the games that they're gonna have for launch: a Mario game, a Zelda game, a Just Dance game. We already know this. I'm not gonna keep saying it. We already know this. But come on, Nintendo, 2 hours of battery life when you take it on the road with you? 2 hours? I know that they use the excuse of the games being so powerful that it drains the battery, but you mean to tell me that the PS Vita, which is a powerhouse of a system, runs longer? The 3DS, which is also a powerhouse handheld, runs longer? Don't give me that excuse. There are things that they could have done to extend the battery life. Come on, you could have put a bigger battery in it. That would help. But no, people gotta go and buy extended batteries. They gotta buy batteries from third-party companies to extend the battery life. You got these controls that you attach to the sides of the tablet, and they're the weirdest controls I've ever seen. They're supposed to be able to be used for 2 players, like one player gets one, the other player gets the other. The controls are weird because I have freakishly big hands, so for me to try to play a game on this system is ridiculous. Not to mention the left side, the left joystick, has connection issues, which is something that they need to fix right away, because the last thing you want is a bunch of angry gamers. I think that Nintendo could have benefited from letting the Wii U go a little longer and continue to work on the system. There was no reason for them to stop the Wii U. It was a good concept. They should have kept it going for a little while longer. They could have took more time to build up on the Switch and make it better. But they're trying to keep up with Xbox. They're trying to keep up with Sony, and I get it, but at this point in time, Nintendo will never, ever, in my personal opinion, Nintendo will always be in the third place for systems for me. Now, people are subjective. There are people that love the Xbox, they love Microsoft, there are people that love Sony, the PlayStation, and that's all well and good. You can argue about which one is better than the other, but I think that most of us can agree that Nintendo is always going to be in the third place, because Nintendo has lost it. They lost it. They got content. They keep pushing out the same shit every year, and eventually people are gonna get tired of it. I'm telling you right now, people are gonna get tired of it, and they're gonna stop buying Nintendo stuff. Because how many Pokemon games, look, Pokemon fans, I'm asking you, how many Pokemon games can you play? How many can you keep playing before it gets subjective and boring? It gets tedious. The same concept, they keep coming out with 100 freaking Pokemon every damn game. They're getting more and more ridiculous by the moment. The names and the designs and the whole purpose behind a lot of these Pokemon. I'm not even gonna get into that right now. That's a video for another day. But how long are you gonna keep doing this, Nintendo? Seriously. I'm already done with you guys. I'm pretty sure that there are other people around this country that feel the same way. They see a new Nintendo product and they're like, meh. I'm pretty sure they got good games for it, but I'm not gonna spend the money to get it. Something needs to be done, because this is getting on my nerves. I hate to see a company like Nintendo that ruled the world of video gaming back in the 90s. In the early 80s, Nintendo was the juggernaut. Nobody could beat it. Sega was WCW and Nintendo's WWE. They were neck and neck, but in the end, WWE, Nintendo, they won. But it just seems like Nintendo has rested on their laurels, because they know that if they put out a Mario or Zelda game or whatever, people are gonna keep buying it, and that's all well and good. But that doesn't mean that you stop being creative. That doesn't mean that you can't go and make new things and other things to bring in more hardcore gamers. You can't just focus on one genre and that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that they're doing. They're focusing so hard on Mario and Zelda and Just Dance Just Dance fucking sucks. I don't care what nobody says. I don't know why people buy that game. I don't know why people want to play that shit. You know what I'm saying? I never liked that series. If you go back, I have a top 10 list of video game franchises that need to stop. I'll leave it in the description below. You can check it out. Good video. But Nintendo, you need to get it together. Because if you want me to start buying your stuff again, you got to change some stuff up. And that's all I got to say. I'll check y'all later. Peace.